Hello everybody. So today I'm going to show off how to build some of the redstone behind my very efficient redstone information lines. So let me turn off the music. Music inside, let's run. So the first thing I want to show is just a very easy pulse, way to get a pulse of a desired length. So what you can do is if you take a sticky piston and place it down there. Then you put a block above the piston and a repeater on the other side. This is a monostable circuit. However, if you want to get a 2-tick pulse, you just set this repeater to 2 ticks. Want to get a 3-tick pulse, set it to 3, or 4 ticks, set it to 4. And this is just a really easy way to get pulses of a desired length. And knowing this trick makes redstone so much easier. It's the basically the only monostable circuit I used for this. I used a few others, or I used like one other type in a few places just because it's easier, or just because it plays in well with one of the other things I did, but that's kind of beside the point. But the first real complex and new idea thing that I came up with is the way to transport numbers across the top. This is the first thing we cover. So the way that this works is we have a ring of 4 hoppers all pointing into each other, such that this hopper points into this one points into this one points into this one, and then this one points into the first one. And then we have it set up so that when this hopper is locked, this one is unlocked, and when this hopper is unlocked, that one is locked. And the way that we are going to do this is this hopper is the one that you put items in to tell how much you want. You know, this is the one that I put doors in the first video, or in the original video, but it can actually be any item. So, and then you're going to put a comparator on this, so that when we unlock it, it'll feed items through. Or no, when we unlock it, it'll feed items through. Then the items will go through this one at a time, turning on this comparator for a specific amount of time. Now, this amount of time actually means something very important, and we can deduce from how long this time is how many items were in it, and we can actually do this very easily. The way that we do this is with a clock. So, just build this clock. It's just a pretty basic comparator clock, except we have a repeater feeding into it, just so it takes slightly longer. If we don't have the repeater here, it'll feed out twice as many items. So that now, for the pulse length this emits, it will pulse once for every item that was in there. And the way that we do this is we just put one hopper here. Inside the hopper is a bunch of items. And you'll see that when we go ahead and unlock this, there's 5 items in it. Go through, this will have pulsed 5 times. Oh, never mind, this needs to be in subtraction mode. Sorry about that. So if we go through, now that it's in subtraction mode, if we turn it on again, it will pulse 5 times, and now there will be 5 items in here. And this will actually work for any amount. If we go ahead and say put in 32 items, I didn't actually put 32 items in here, so I better do that. But if we go through, it'll pulse 32 times, and I think that'll mean there'll be 37 items in here since there was 5 from before. This is the way that worked, that the lights on top work. We put in the doors. We put the doors in here. That was how many lights we wanted to. Then that converted into a single pulse of a given length, which I then converted into a number of pulses using this setup. That fed into a dropper, which fed items into a setup exactly like this. And then from right here, we can take a reading, and because I was using non-stackable items, this would give us a reading where each item in it represented 3 lights, or represented a fifth of the total possible signal. So that's the way that I did that. Now let's move on to some more complex redstone. The receiving half involves much more complex redstone than the non-receiving half. So this setup right here is really the most important thing that I came up with. This little, well, not little, this big hunk of redstone right here that I just circled. This is what allows you to determine a header from a non-header, a header from a message body. And the way that this works is there is a pulse length detector right here, and what that pulse length detector does is if the pulse length is the correct length, then it will extend this piston, which will then allow the message body to pass through. However, once the pulse length detector receives a signal, it will extend this piston, preventing it from receiving any other signals. I know that's kind of complicated, but let's just show it off right here. So this is set up. Let me see how many ticks we need. This needs a 4-tick. This needs a 4-tick delay. So if we go ahead and use this monostable right here, give it 4 ticks, and then turn it on, you will notice that that piston right there extends briefly. Now the reason it extends so briefly is because there is not a message body running through. The message body is what keeps this piston extended. This setup right here, allows the message body to allows this piston to stay extended, which means the message body can continue to transmit. This setup is very complex, and I might do an in-depth tutorial on how to build it, but I'll just leave my world up for download, or I'll put this world up for download, and you can figure out how to build it yourself. So this is the last very important component to single cable redstone information transfer. And what this is this is a pulse length detector. So what it is if it receives a pulse that's too long, it won't trigger, but if it receives a pulse that's too short, it won't emit a tick, or it won't send a signal. But if it receives a pulse that is exactly the right length, and I can generate that using this monostable, which, by the way, I did not come up with. I don't know who did, but it was not me. So if it receives a 4-tick pulse, which that length is configurable, I mean, you can easily see that it can be set to 3, and now it will emit a pulse. And so this is very important. This is how I did the dispensers with water, but it's also very easy to build, which is nice. So what it is just a block with redstone on it, and then dispensers, or not dispensers, repeaters, and this can be as long as you want, but it has to be at least 4 repeaters. And the reason it has to be at least 4 is just because of the design. You could design something that needs less, but this particular design requires it to be 4 long. But you can put redstone if you need a shorter pulse length. So then you need to go slab, and you need to place the slabs on the top half so you can put redstone on top. And then put a slab there. I do that just for aesthetics. And then redstone along the top. Then you need to put a sticky piston right here with a block on it so that when the piston is extended, a redstone signal can pass through it. 2 redstone right there. Piston, or repeater, sticky piston. No, you need to put a sticky piston right there so that when it's extended, a redstone signal cannot pass through it. Then you're going to go put 2 slabs there, redstone, and repeater. And then right there is your output. So this is set up for 4 ticks, but is easily configurable depending on how long you want. That said, it works best generally if you have only 1 ticks, and I'll show you why. These are all set to 4 ticks, you'll notice that I blinked it on and off really quickly, but it made a continuous signal. Whereas if it's 1 tick, and this is going to be hard to see, you'll notice that only one, or that when I blink it on and off, it creates a gap. So that's why you need to use only 1 tick repeaters. So you might have to do something like this if you need a longer delay. But it's not hard to make work. And that's really all. You can download this world if you need to figure out how to build this, or you want to see how exactly how I did everything here. And thanks for watching.